Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read through for Tower of God, chapter 650 or season 3, episode 233. I am so excited this week. I know that these last three chapters of the season have gotten really good scores way back when they came out, like with the scans and everything, and I have remained unspoiled. I remained unspoiled except for one character who I haven't been spoiled is going to appear, but from the results so far of the character poll, I'm like, okay, they're doing too well in the character poll. We gotta see them, right? But that could always just not be true. I could always be wrong on that assumption, but I haven't been spoiled, and I'm just so excited. It's been such a tough wait. One day this week, I actually dreamed about Tower of God and what was going to happen next in the story. Like, I have been so excited to see what happens next. On top of all that, once we're done, we have 2 more weeks, 2 more chapters after this, and even then, I'm going to be finishing up the character poll results and publishing those, making a video on those, and getting to watch everybody else's reactions on those. I am so excited. I loved watching reactions last character poll. I can't wait. Like, I would love to see Dr. Bonehead, Naya, Animosity all did them last time. If they do reactions again, if Ron Can did, that'd be awesome. Or Pyro. Like, there's so many different channels that I would love to see reactions to. I don't remember, Izzy might have done a reaction to the screen time. But yeah, Amy Angel at one point, when she was at the when she got to the end of the nest, did a reaction to last character poll, so her reaction would be exciting. Like, I just can't wait to see other people's reactions whenever we get the final results in. In addition to that, I guess I'm gonna do a screen time update video. I mean, I've been taking notes and we're gonna be on hiatus, so why not do another screen time video? There's also something that Dr. Bonehead mentioned that he had asked for a favor with something, but he didn't say what it was, so I'll also keep it a surprise. But I will be assisting him with that, and then maybe I'll also use it myself. I don't know. But yeah, there's just so many. And then imagine all the discussion videos you can probably get out of what we're going to get in these last three chapters. I know for sure Naya is going to want to have everybody together again to do another big discussion. Those are always really fun, and always kind of a big thing. So I can't wait to see that with Naya's channel and everything. And yeah, I guess the only thing left to say before I start reading is I do want to just chill the character poll some more. We're at 4,500 votes so far, 4,500, and it'd be really nice to try to at least hit 10k. It doesn't look like we're gonna hit 17k like last time, but you know, we could. Like, if all of you for the remaining 19 days, a couple hundred of you usually watch this, if all of you vote 3 times a day for the next 19 days, then all of you could kind of push us to past 17k. But even if we get like 10k, I still think that'd be fun. It's going to be harder to get votes than last time. Sorry, having just a little bit of hiccups or indigestion or something here and there because I just ate. I was just eating dinner, trying to get done eating by 9 o'clock so that I could come record this. But yeah, sorry, lost my train of thought because of all that. But yeah, please go vote in the character poll. Link will be in the comments and description. I was saying it's going to be harder to hit 17k, but 10k would be nice, because I think one of the big things I'm sort of applying it to, I know there might just be less people in general reading Tower of God. That could totally be true, but I think a big part of it is that last time the scans were only like 3 to maybe 6 weeks ahead. I think maybe only like 3 weeks ahead, when we had the last character poll, so people weren't really checked out of Tower of God. But now, if you're reading scans, which I think a lot of people probably are reading scans compared to the official, then you read the most recent chapter months ago, and unless you're following Tower of God content creators, you might just be checked out of Tower of God, you know. So I think a large portion of the Tower of God, like readership, is just kind of checked out of Tower of God. But everybody's been trying their hardest to share it around. Pate on the Tower of God subreddit, Jesse on the Discord server, Dr. Bonehead sharing it to his community. So many of you just doing so much to share it around. Naya making a post about it on his channel. Like, people have done like so amazingly sharing it around, and I really want to say thank you, because that is massive. That's absolutely massive, how much it's been shared and how much people have tried their hardest. And also just all of you, if you're getting out there and voting 3 times a day in it, then you're the ones contributing those 3 votes a day. So if you're getting your 3 votes a day out there, then you're helping out a lot. But I guess before I get into it, I'm not going to pull it up on screen, but I had messaged Dr. Bonehead the, every 10th place characters and what their votes were. So I guess I could share that here as well. I know not all of you watch Dr. Bonehead. If you don't, I'd recommend it. He's great. But if you want to know, if you want to see here, I'll share it. Or some of you watch both of us, but usually watch my stuff first. So 100th place is 6 votes. And honestly, I'm recording this on my PC. If I was on my laptop, I'm not signed in here. I don't feel like signing in. I'm signed into the poll dashboard on my laptop right now. I could have just pulled up the actual full results. But from what I messaged to Dr. Bonehead, 100th place is at 6 votes, and there's a 13-way tie. Some of the characters included in that 13-way tie are Inieta, Dan, Daniel, Elpathian, Arlen, Levin, and Sunwunare. So all of those kind of make sense to me. I wish there was more for like Dan and Daniel, because I really like both of them a lot. Dan's always been one of my favorite characters. I think my very first ever character ranking I did on the channel, I probably put Daniel in like my top 3, maybe top 5 at least, but I think he could have been like one of my absolute favorites. 90th place currently right now is at 7 votes. So again, all you got to do, vote 3 times today, 3 times tomorrow. You could have somebody in 100th place. You could affect the poll that much. But 90th is a 6-way tie with 7 votes, and that includes Mate, Suo, and the Crane. 80th place is currently at 8 votes with a 7-way tie that includes Head-On, Dizzy, Novik, the Serpent Master. It does my heart good to see at least a couple other people voted Serpent Master. I know I voted probably once for Serpent Master. I think I've been one of those 7 votes. Every day for me, I basically vote for 3 different characters pretty much. I'm like, oh, I want to vote these 3. Now I want to vote these 3. I kind of jump around to a bit of them. 70th place right now has 10 votes, and it's a 6-way tie that includes Hema Slime, Garnak, and Doom. Then 60th place is at 14 votes right now, and it's a tie between Cobalt and Michael. It's crazy. Michael, I don't think, had any votes last time, has 14 votes, 60th place now, but there has been somebody that I've been seeing use one of their 3 votes on Michael like every day. So somebody out there, Michael fan, is carrying him. You too can vote 3 characters a day, and for the next 19 days, basically carry 50th right now is at 19 votes. You could carry 3 characters up to 19 votes just by voting those 3 each day. But 50th right now is a 5-way tie between Cha, Hackney, Hatsu, Leviathan, and Liboric. Liboric's crazy, but Leviathan I do not get. Leviathan was like 30-some in the last poll. Leviathan was really, really, really high in the last poll too, and I don't really get it. 40th place right now is 26 votes, and it's a tie between Akraptor and Edwan. Both of those are characters that I'm glad are doing well. Makes sense that they're popular. 30th place right now at 32 votes is Kan Hong, which is a wild one. I like Kan Hong, so it's kind of fun seeing Kan Hong this high, but it's wild. It's crazy. It's unexpected. I'm not any of those 32 votes, so that is nutty. That's crazy. 29th place, if that makes you feel any better, is Jaja right now. I have voted at least once or twice for Jaja, and people asked about Yirang. Yirang is also around there. Yirang's in 27th, I think. So that's where those characters are. 20th place right now is Yurik, who was in 9th, I think, in the last character poll. I keep getting him and Yusracha mixed up. I think Yusracha was 8th and Yurik was 9th last time, so he's down a little bit, but still extremely popular. And also, the competition at the top is just so tight. First and second place have swapped multiple times over the course of the last week, which is crazy that the top 2 spots are still that close. I think 6th and 7th place, as of when I checked at 4,500 votes, were only 1 vote apart between 6th and 7th place. I think 10th, 11th, and 12th are all very close to each other. So 10th place right now, 108 votes, is Elaine. But even then, like I said, 2 other people are pretty close to Elaine, fighting for the spot in the top 10. So it is still an incredibly close race. There are a lot of characters that are super, super popular. I would love to get more votes, though. Again, if we could just get enough to like break up some of these ties so that there aren't these massive like 6-7 way ties, get more votes so that the stratification can spread out a bit more would be nice. But that's it. Sorry for the long intro. I just wanted to shill the character poll a little more, so there is that, if that makes you any more excited to vote. But either way, let me check, make sure the recording looks good, and then we can just start reading. Let's start reading. We have chapter 650, A Violence Warning, which may or may not mean anything. The game 1. It's time to play the game. Okay, so it's called the game 1, not just the game. So do we get 3 chapters? The last 3 chapters, maybe they're playing chess? We have the clacking upon the board, and I don't know what the chess game, what's going to happen with Traumerei, given that he only has a king. I think that this would have been such a nice moment, though, if they would have had the moment with, if Siu had done something more with Gorodo's character, and Gorodo gave him the bishop, because then it's like they said at the beginning, the bishop can't win a game on its own, and it's the only piece that Traumerei had. But also just this arc and the chess thing not being very well organized in general. We never even learned who one of Traumerei's pieces was to begin with. So there's that. Now we see Gaston moving his rook, and Dorothy and Kuhn watching on. This is the first time I've played chess, knowing I'm going to lose right from the start, says Traumerei. Gaston's still missing the arm. This is probably the most brutal his missing arm has looked, this panel. Would you stop grumbling already, Traumerei? You can't change anything now. We used to make bets like this all the time, remember? That was a very long time ago. True. Come to think of it, we've spent far more time apart than together. I know it's a little late to be asking this, but how have you been? I imagine you probably haven't left your house much, says Gaston. Well, I can't deny that. You're right. All I ever did was sit alone in my battleship, and we'd have him just moving around the Lonely King, just basically buying time. Were you really alone the whole time? Did you never meet anyone you could open up to? Man, he could have had so many opportunities. Amazu, Enkidu, his children, Wang, he had Yusracha, he had so many options, and he just burnt every bridge. I felt a certain amount of satisfaction when my children were first born. I gave them everything I could to make them happy. And we see little baby Keating with these little gloves on. And okay, so Lobanon isn't graying. His hair has always been like this. Because we have young Lobanon, and he has the sort of white fading into green hair. So then, who were their mothers? I want to know. Although I was well aware that every last child has to leave the nest eventually. As they grew up, one stayed by my side and the other left. But I always knew they would both leave me someday. And we see the two of them as adults. That's why we raise children in the first place, isn't it? To send them out into the world. And just once, I met a mutt I could trust. Man, I'm getting emotional. I just got goosebumps. A mutt. It was a beastkin born in a lab. A very loyal, simple and honest creature. We see Wang. Just the sort of being I was trying to create. I suppose encountering that mutt brought me a little joy. I gave it my most prized possession at the time. I let it have a beastkin wife with the power of the ancient creatures in her. I even allowed the mutt to have a child with another wife. My sons opposed the idea, but I was convinced that mutt would someday lead our family's army to victory. However, as time went on, I became more and more anxious. So, his most prized possession at the time is, he wouldn't be referring to Nen, would he? Because I think Nen is just the beastkin wife with the power of the ancients. So what is the prized possession? It's not the Fang, is it? Because I'm pretty sure he was born with the Fang. I thought the Fang was something that Wang was just born with. Unless I'm forgetting something. Okay. My son opposed the idea, but I was convinced that Mutt would someday lead our family's army to victory. However, as time went on, I became more and more anxious. I was afraid the Mutt might betray me and leave me now that it had found love. So I cut it loose before it could throw off its leash. And you were anxious. I didn't even know you could still feel that sort of thing. Neither did I. It surprised me as well. And you know, I recently saw one of that Mutt's descendants. It reminded me again of when I first met the Mutt. I began to wonder if perhaps my anxiety was the very cause of all my problems. So I decided to give the Mutt's son another chance. But none of that matters now. Maybe it would take a god to truly accept a creature with any humanity in it. This is so clunky. I feel bummed by. This is probably a translation mistake. Maybe it would take a god to truly accept a creature with any humanity in it. I think maybe he's like just saying that it's beyond him, beyond what he's capable of, to love something with humanity in it, because if it has humanity in it, then it can make its own decisions, and we see how much that lack of control bothers Traumerei. The second he feels like he's losing control of Amizu, of Enkidu, of Wang Wang, the second he feels like he's losing control, he just says, oh well, time to clear the board, and just throws everything away. Perhaps what I wanted was to use my Shinwan Ryu to become something like a real god. The kind of supreme being that has no feelings for any one human, or one particular human, never gets anxious, and yet can embrace all humanity as one. The gods. Just saying the word out loud fills me with jealousy and envy. Look at me, envying imaginary beings that don't even exist. I'm no god. And he's saying imaginary beings, so then what of the machine god, the god of nature, the outside god? I'm a demon. Man, we have, again, the introspection at what might be the end. I mean, at least the end of his godhood, if Gaston gets what he says he wants. Don't flatter yourself, Dorkmere. What? You may be an asshole, but you don't have what it takes to be a true demon. By trying to overcome your loneliness, you ended up becoming the loneliest, most evil being in the world. You're just a fool, a complete imbecile. Shut up. You'll never understand how I feel. Checkmate. And he's trapped. We have another angle. Game over. He looks down at the board. Is it over? Says Kuhn. And both he and Dorothy look like they're standing. And then, I admit defeat. You win. The chess game finally came to an end. We have an announcement. The winner was Pobet Augustin. I forget, somebody brought up last time, who was the person doing the announcements? I wonder if it's still like just one of Bellarier's observers or something. By winning the game, Gaston maintained his status as one of the 10 family heads, while earning the right to take control of the Lopobia family. Okay, so he's taking control of the family. Also, I forget what I was going to say. So he won the game. Oh yeah, bringing up like why didn't the administrator get involved in this, or the floor ruler? I mean, maybe the floor ruler just is one of the family heads here. Maybe it is Gaston, but the administrator signed off on this game and agreed on this game. So I guess maybe that's why it didn't get involved despite all the crazy fighting, is because like it was, you know, a part of, like, it agreed to this game. Traumerei, on the other hand, was no longer one of the family heads. And we have this burst of light. As a result, he lost the administrator's protection. Now it's talking like a omniscient narrator. I think it is still an announcement though, so it maybe is no longer one of the family heads and has lost the administrator's protection. What the? And is this the administrator, the king? I just mention it, and now we see it. Crazy. It's the administrator. Lo Pobia Traumere. I'm now revoking the absolute power and protection I granted you as a family head. Very well. Go ahead and take it away. So he's losing his godhood, essentially. Gaston, there's something you don't know about Zahard. And then we don't get to know what it is. But Gaston does. We have this burst of light. So now Gaston has more info. I wish we would have gotten a little something, though. Something to just, like, tease us with what it was he was saying. What just happened? I'm not sure. But one thing is certain. Lopobia Traumere is no longer one of the 10 family heads. Traumere? In that moment, Traumere lost his privileges and protection as a family head. As a result, his mind was flooded with all the emotions he'd been suppressing. Joy, anger, sorrow, pleasure. And one emotion in particular struck him more intensely than all the rest. It was like running outside dressed in light clothes without realizing that winter had come, and being hit with a sudden gust of wind. He starts crying. For the first time in ages, Traumere was overcome with an aching sense of longing and regret. He thinks about Amazu. Gaston, Traumere, I'm so lonely. And now we see disconnect. Traumere? And it shoots down. And Traumere takes himself out, it seems. Well, Gaston got what he wanted. He stripped Traumere of his godhood. And Traumere immediately took himself out, it seems. Everyone looks on. Traumere. Following his defeat in the chess game against Popedal Gaston, Lopobia was stripped of his title as family head. Unable to bear the shame, he ended his own life shortly afterwards. That's how everyone that hears about this moment later will recall his death. Dang. Okay, hold on, because nobody really cares about the feelings of an absolute being. To most people, such feelings seem like a luxury. You were such a fool right till the bitter end, Traumere, but that's how everyone will remember it. So is there more to it? Oh, the remembering he took himself out of shame. Unable to bear the shame he ended his own life is how they'll remember it. But the truth is, it isn't just the shame. It's thousands of years of pain and regret, all bearing down on him at once. I hope you find peace now. Wherever you are. So, what point is there in trying to understand them? And we see his body left at the chessboard as Gaston walks away. Traumere! Traumere! Traumere, look at this! And we see Amazu in a field of flowers. What are you so excited about, Amazu? Look, a flower! Isn't it pretty? Where did that blow in from? As I've told you so many times, I can't stand those things. What right do they have to land on someone else's territory, put down roots, and take over without permission? Unlike animals that can be tamed, plants are far too unruly and destructive. That's precisely what makes them so precious. Their lives are a pure expression of nature. Perhaps we're the ones who ought to adapt ourselves to them, just like I did to you. Huh? I force myself on you by planting my seeds in your barren heart and trying to nurture them into flowers of love. Barren? That's not a nice way to describe someone. Would you like to live together? Amazu? Traumere? To be honest, it scares me. To think about how different we might be in the future. Maybe this is the wrong decision, and we'll be punished for it forever. But if we don't do this now, we'll never have another chance. So let's just try living together, Tromare. I want to be both a grassy meadow and a little flower to you. That's right. This woman blew into my life completely unannounced, put down her roots, and then blossomed into a flower. And I didn't mind that at all. All right, let's do it. She stirred emotions in me that had hardened because of my agreement with the tower, and she planted a flower in me. I pray that she may indeed be the grassy meadow and little flower that my heart needs. Very well. I only hope that I never end up cutting that flower myself. That's all I ever hoped and prayed for. And we see his body left in his seat. End of the game. Man, that is so good. And that explains, too, why he killed himself in the end. Because the one thing that meant the most to him, the one thing he hoped and prayed for, was something, and we see them holding hands, too. The one thing he hoped and prayed for was something that happened. Or hoped and prayed wouldn't happen. You get what I mean, is something that happened. Like, how do you live to go into the future? I thought maybe if he lost his godhood, he would still think whatever's going on with Zahard, whatever he knows about Zahard that Gaston doesn't, maybe it would keep him loyal to Zahard. Maybe he would still think, okay, this is the greater good I have to fight for, even if he loses his godhood. But I actually love that Amazu meant more to him than that. And we see that he truly felt for his children, he felt for Wang Wang, but then we see the way he treated them was so different because of his own paranoia, his own insecure feelings, and because a lot of it was, kind of precipitated by his deal with the tower. It's just like from season 1, very early on in season 1, early at the second floor, people talking about how the tower changes people. We saw how the tower changed him, and going back to being a real person after all of that was just too much. So yeah, incredible. One of the family heads is down, and that leaves us to go into the next 2 chapters where it could have ended here. We could have ended at an even 650, but we have 2 more. Like, we could do anything. We could do literally anything from here. Who knows what we could jump to? There's probably a list too long to possibly get to all of it that I'd love to see, so I'll just be happy with whatever we do see. That was an incredibly, incredibly emotionally good chapter. The only thing that I have issues with are things that aren't even having to do with this chapter. It's just that I wish the arc leading up to this chapter was better, because it would make the chapter even better if we had really built up to it in an even better way. And I am conflicted now. We tied in the Wang Wang stuff, but I just feel like, where does Yama go as a character? Because Paul basically vanished out of the story into irrelevance. Doom hopefully isn't dead, because that would be a really dumb way to die if he actually died. So if he did actually die, that's kind of a dumb and poorly written way to do it. Yama, his emotional stakes have all been his parents were killed because of, and kind of literally by, Tromare. Yusracha was kind of the third wheel, and Yusracha was also set into a path to death, mortally wounded by Tromare. And it seemed like the whole setup for Yama's entire character is, okay, this guy needs to eventually be the one to take down Tromare. But now that Tromare's taken himself down, and Tromare kind of grew as his own character outside of being just Yama's villain, he very quickly grew into a much bigger character than that in the story. So it kind of feels like Yama, for most of season 3, whenever we aren't focusing on Bomb, we were focusing on Yama, and then eventually got to the point where we were focusing on Gaston and Tromare. So it felt like Yama for a long time was the main character, and nearly the entire time was a secondary main character of season 3. And yet, what do we do? Like, his character feels at the end of season 3 now like it's nowhere. It feels like we took a character who was one of the main characters of season 3, and he's nowhere right now. I mean, I guess you could say that Wangnan faced that kind of fall off in season 2, where by the time we got a chunk of the way through Hell Train, we were seeing very little. Like, we got so much good Wangnan stuff, and then we just started seeing less and less until we're basically seeing nothing. And then season 3, we've kind of literally seen nothing. And then we've done it here with Yama, where he was a main character for most of it, and now at the end of it, I'm just left thinking, where does he go from here? I guess one of the only things, I think one way to kind of shift Yama's character, but to me it's just not as emotional, to me it's not as connected, because he was really connected to the Traumerei stuff through the Wang Wang and Yusracha stuff, all of that. But without Traumerei here, it kind of just leaves him with nothing. And something he can do, even though it's not as emotionally connected, is if we are trying to be like, okay, Bomb's allies need to try to get Bomb back from FUG, or try to convince FUG that Bomb deserves to have his body over the V vengeful spirit that's within him right now. And if that's the case, I already said I think Yama's one of those characters that sides with Bomb, so that is something for Yama's character to do in the future, but it just doesn't feel as impactful as the stuff with Wang Wang and Traumerei. I feel like Yama needed Traumerei as a character. So, again, all the Traumerei stuff, amazing, incredible. But here I am thinking about the future and thinking about a completely unrelated character with Yama, and it's like, without Traumerei, I don't see where we do anything big with Yama anymore. I don't really see what we do too much with him. Because I think if it comes to trying to take Bomb away from FUG, or trying to stand up for Bomb, that Jin Sung, to me, sides with Bomb. Jin Sung cares about Bomb, even though all the V stuff is a part of FUG's whole thing. I really think that there were a lot of things Jin Sung didn't even know, but also I just think Jin Sung's too connected to Bomb specifically, and I think the same goes for Karaka. I think Karaka's going to be tsundere about it, but Karaka's really attached to Bomb as a character at this point. So I think Karaka sides with him, and then I think that Yama sides with him, because Yama already wasn't really like a super FUG loyal guy. Neither was Karaka, really. But Yama was already not really super loyal to FUG. And then on top of that, we saw at the end of the walls going into the nest, when Yama and Bomb talk over the pocket call, that Yama really likes and respects Bomb now, especially through all this other stuff we've been through since then. He probably likes and respects Bomb even more at this point. So I think Yama definitely sides with Bomb. If anything, Yama maybe sides with Bomb more than perhaps any other character. Like, he even up there with Jin Sung and Karaka levels of siding with him. But it does leave us in a cool place, because who knows what the spinoff will be about. But even past the spinoff, just going into season 4, if we end kind of where we are now, we have Bomb's allies over here with Gaston, because they're the ones that were taken captive, like Waryun's hanging around the nest right now. Rachel and Yura are still hanging around here, so what are they going to do with Bomb's allies? Vicente, White, Joaquin is still in there, is here, and he's kind of a pretty, I guess, key figure at this point with Bomb's story. He's just been around kind of a lot now, hundreds of chapters at this point. And then we still don't know what's going on with Yule and Kel. We got like one panel of Yule here, and they're connected to Revolution. So there's more going on there. They have information on Yiwan Danhua, who we haven't gotten into in forever. We have Bomb's allies at the Sol Huang Yang, or whatever it is. I always forget the name of the Snow Fairy Forest thing. We have Bomb's allies there. Are we going to get to see them again? That's where Paul should be. And we've got like Berdish, Mule Love, Evan Kell, Shibisu and Hatsu and Elaine and Hackney should all be there. And so there's that. We got to see them at some point, you'd think. We still don't know what Team Tang Soyuk under Wangnan is doing this entire time. We haven't seen or heard at all from Team Novik. So Team Novik's still out there wherever. Anak has done literally nothing for nearly all of the entire series. So there's like so many characters. And then new characters, of course, that we haven't been dealing with yet. What's Walhikson gonna do right now? Is Yurik just gonna dip out and leave until we get to the 77th floor? There's so much. There is so much happening. And I think that makes it very, very exciting because there's no way we really wrap up all of those bazillion different things in these next 2 chapters. So that leaves us going into season 4 with just so many options of where our focus can be. We can focus on so many different things, and that is exciting. I hope we focus on something a little bit different, though, than we did for Season 3, because as much as I like the majority of Season 3, pretty much all of it except this arc, and even this arc has great moments, even though I do think this is the weakest arc in the series, but outside of this one arc, I think I've loved Season 3, so it does make, even though I love it, I would like to see our focus shift after this. To focus a little bit differently in how the story's told. And hopefully with a lot of the feedback CU was receiving, hopefully he takes that to heart and does change gear a little bit. But yeah, with all that aside, I'll end this here. Been yapping a little bit. Thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there too. Tell me what you thought of this chapter, my thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more. Tower of God, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. If you would like to, please, 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 I implore you, vote 3 times a day. Don't forget, every single day, go vote 3 times a day in the character poll. Links will be in the comments and description. I say just copy the link, paste it, vote, paste it, vote, paste it, vote. Do the same thing again tomorrow and the day after and the day after. Please, 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 I would really love to hit, like I said, we could still hit over 17k votes. We very much could. It's just a matter of will we? And so far it's not looking great, but we could if you would please just go out and vote 3 times a day. Please, please. But yeah, I gotta e-beg for that. Other than that, I guess that's about it. So if you want to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, that's so appreciated. And if you want to help support the channel and get One Piece videos a little bit early and get your name at the end of videos, I haven't even pulled that up, sorry about that, then you can hit join down below to become a channel member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you to chosen regulars, Evan Hawley and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls, FR Nono, JA and the D-Band, Cheriton Students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element Pate Ardialo. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.